So Lady Rocket, how does the space market actually work for, because you spoke about it there, but you're talking about this bit is like tokenizing space assets. So my background to blockchain's tokenization, but for the viewers and listeners, explain how you actually tokenize space assets.
Yes. Number one is a strategic and visionary recognition that blockchain in our hands gives you unprecedented power to create a transparent, unbreakable, full of integrity system which can host space assets, fashion assets, in my case also art assets, using a brilliance of tokenization, which I know you are very familiar with because you are using it in a beautiful way to another strategic area, which is energy. And what does it mean, tokenizing? Let me give you an example. I will not share the names of the companies because some of them we are in the process of negotiations, but let's talk about something that caught attention of our American society last several days, which is a return to the moon. And from the distance, in a non-participatory way, we were watching incredible striving of NASA to launch Artemis 1, to go back to the moon. Comes Copernic Space, and comes private companies who are also working on getting to the moon. We have arrangement with some of them to allow them transform their unused assets like space inside of the rocket or space inside of the moon rover into tokenized asset, which means we define that you can acquire, let's say, 1 kilo of the space inside of SpaceX on its way to the moon next year using Copernic Space token, which is a form of the legal arrangement, a legal document, because we are using smart contracts, that by virtue of acquiring a Copernic Space token, which actually represents token of the company who is our client, you now own right either to the physical or digital ability to send your artifact or digital file to the moon, and then Copernic Space will be relaunching your NFT with the new financial value because something on the moon represents, in theory, significantly higher financial value than when it is on Earth. And we removed barrier of entry to being a participatory in upcoming space expeditions. 2, we've agreed to create new pricing. Can you imagine that you can now afford to send something to the moon in a digital form, when in the past it was only possible for the billionaires or others? So on Copernic Space, you can acquire our tokens for the purpose and choice of participating in this type of endeavor. We successfully proved the case. Our platform works, our rocket is on, we are fueled, and now we are expanding applications of Copernic Space, not only lunar, but also Mars, space debris, and climate change.
So let's go back to like the tokenization piece. So you're talking about, you're tokenizing a small piece of the space rocket that's going up, and anybody out there can acquire a fractional interest in that through your space token.
This is a handy example.
What do they get from that, though?
Well, for example, Lady Rocket is going to send to the moon things that I believe deserve to be there, and or represent phenomenal financial transaction. And let me just give you examples. I will use some names, but I just want to clarify, I by no means make statement that those arrangements are final. I am just using those names as a handy example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so some of you might know a company called Tiffany, but Tiffany, we are a generation that remembers breakfast at Tiffany's and the blue box and the beautiful rings, but the young generation is not into blue boxes as much as we were. Comes Lady Rocket and Copernic Space And again, example, saying, okay, Tiffany, we would be interested in making arrangement with you to acquire our NFT for the purpose of sending to the moon either a ring or Beyonce Moon River song, which they just paid for Beyonce to record, for the purpose of not only calling attention to your brand, but also to sponsor something in a philanthropic sense. Remember my rhinos, I am remember art, etc. So brands are desperately seeking opportunity to make a point, and we are one of the champions of allowing some of them to consider being included in the moon journey. But we are always working on attaching something of a not superficial but real benefit to planet Earth. They are, of course, billionaires, always craving opportunity to shine. Most of them do not want to fly with Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, but would love to claim ownership of something